let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
Stop sucking! That's the signal! Go! 6! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Good morning. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive at therushradio.com. Good to have you along on a Thursday morning. If you're listening on the stream, thank you so much. Good to have you here. If you're watching on YouTube, give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and, of course, set up those notifications so you know when we go live. And, of course, you can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. My name is Travis Justice. He is Ross Peterson. He's got the little groove going. Give me a smile there, Ross, because you got those pearly whites. You've got those pearly whites. Look at that. Clean teeth from Ross Peterson.
It's listen. Glad I went back. Honestly, it took too long. This is like most things with doctors and things, right? I had braces as a kid, so I associate a lot of pain with sitting in that chair. It's a new world, baby. It's a new world. Went to the dentist. First of all, the no dental insurance thing, I thought that was going to be like, oh, God, this is going to cost me thousands of dollars. No, I saved a lot of money.
It's amazing when you show up with cash. They are willing to they will bargain with you when you're going to pay cash. We don't have to go through the insurance process. Let's cut a deal. What's behind door number 3?
Yep. You mean we don't have to deal with all of those other people? You just made our life super easy? Yeah, we can help you out. Absolutely. That was cool, first of all. Second of all, man, whole new world of like, so found out, I'm sitting there chit-chatting, getting to know folks, where you're from, all that. And I find out that the dentist, he's like, yeah, my wife actually grew up in Marshalltown. I'm like, oh, yeah, guys, I know Marshalltown people. If you know people from Marshalltown, we know each other. He's like, all right. He's like, well, when we go to do this, we're going to do this one thing with you that might cause a little bit of pain. So we might use a little bit of like topical anesthetic. And so I fired off the joke of, well, Doc, if the wife's from Marshalltown, just bring me some cocaine.
Did he find that funny?
It broke the ice. Let's say that. It broke the ice.
Boy, that's good numb there.
Oh, man.
Rubbing those teeth. Yeah. How much plaque did you have on your teeth, Ross Peterson?
Enough that they were calling in other people. Like, you got to see this guy. No, not that bad. It wasn't that bad. It was bad enough that I didn't think, I was only having one little tooth pain, and I knew not to let that go, right? Too long. But I do take good care of my teeth. I brush every day. I don't floss. We talked about this. Like, I don't floss regularly. I don't know what that, but I try to floss. We have little floss picks and things.
Yep.
But, dude, once you have a professional look in your mouth and go, hey, how long's it been since you had a professional cleaning? And your answer is, I have no idea. It was time. So it was great. Feeling better. It's amazing what that does. That's one of those things you get off that he takes his hands out of your mouth. You go, oh my gosh, that's what that's supposed to feel like.
You put your tongue in the back of your teeth, and you're like, oh, I actually have teeth. I didn't know there's teeth there.
So anyway,
that's why
went well. It was painless.
I build up plaque so much. That's why I go every 3 months for a cleaning now. So usually it's a 6-month cleaning. I go every 3 because I don't know what I have in my system that I just build a lot of plaque. My wife will tell you that I don't brush enough and I don't floss enough, and that's the reason it builds up. But I actually like going every 3 months. So it's like
now I even have a maintenance plan ahead because the plan that I was able to buy was essentially 1 year of care from the dentist for less than it would have been if I would have had insurance and gone in and done what I did. For the one thing I had done, I paid less, and now I've got more things planned. It's kind of like having a gym membership is the way I looked at it. Like, I've paid for it, now I'm going to use it, and I'll be scheduling my other cleanings and stuff. So anyway,
You look good, man. You've got pearly whites. You're almost a model status now. I could almost. You're almost ready for GQ. You are ready for a lot of big things ahead. You got the beard going. Yeah. You've got the hair going. You got the eyewear going. All we need to do is get you into some fancy clothes, and you're gonna be sporting the runway. You're gonna be on the runway.
You don't like the Tiger Hawk, huh?
No, I like it.
I'm not a fan. I don't like this is what I would call the Alfred Hawk, right?
Yes.
Got the little wingy thing back here.
Yeah.
I don't need that. But
something tells me
this is comfy though. I like this. Gonna wear it today as Iowa rocks their way into the
survive and advance. Survive and advance.
Round of the survive and advance, baby.
I mean, that's what Iowa State is doing. That's what Iowa's doing. Let's start with Iowa State, right? I mean, they play the early game yesterday. They take care of Cincinnati, no problems, with the exception of some injuries. And that is, we know that Tamin Lipsey had a bit of a groin injury. He left the game. Keyshawn Gilbert is most likely, from what we're being told, not going to play today or a possibility of not playing. That changes the dynamic for BYU, a BYU team that just beat you at Hilton Coliseum.
Yeah, in the immediate aftermath of the game, Otzelberger was on with Eric and John, I mean, in the minutes after. And I happened to be driving around listening to that. And he said, we're going to reevaluate these guys. But it looks like probably not going to have Keyshawn. He was having a hard time getting that first step and getting explosive, so might as well keep him down. And then they started talking about Tamin Lipsey, not only the game he had yesterday, but then basically it was funny to hear Eric and Otz talk about Tamin Lipsey. Stuff that I guess I knew, but like you just pick up on this tone where they're like, what's up with Tamin? And they all kind of giggle like, well, we're not going to keep him out. We can't. Yeah. We wouldn't be able to keep. We'd have to build a cage with a lock on it to keep him off the court. He tweaked his groin a little bit, so yeah, we're probably going to have to figure out what we have to do to keep him as healthy as possible because he's getting out there.
Yeah, you can go without one. You can't go without both, right? You need either Lipsey or Gilbert on the court, and you're right.
I mean, from here on out, you might have an opponent in that first round of the NCAA tournament that you could handle without either one of those guys. But for the rest of this conference tournament, and really for what you want to accomplish this season, you want both of those guys. You need to do what you can to have both of them healthy. I just picked up on the tone of like, we'll rub some Ben Gay on Tamin and he's going to be all right. Keyshawn, we're going to have to, we're going to have to pump the brakes and use kid gloves for just a minute. They're going to be smart. I know TJ is going to be really smart. If winning today against BYU is not nearly as important as the big vision that this team has ahead of them, and I think that's what they have to be looking at with him. Again, get the impression that you're going to get Lipsey.
And this is the reason why I know a lot of people put stock in the conference tournament, and it's great to go down to Kansas City. And I saw some video from Kelly's yesterday as the band was there playing, giving that experience we were talking about. But you realize, even if you are fortunate enough, like Iowa State, you didn't have to play that first day. You got a Cincinnati team. Conference tournaments, for no matter who they are grinds. They are grinds because you're playing day, next day. Usually 4 games, possibly 3 games, depending on who you are. But those are just grinds, and that's not a normal schedule for most teams, right? I mean, the last time they played back-to-back was like in November when you're in Hawaii or you're in one of those preseason tournaments.
Yeah.
It just kind of throws you. That's why you see a lot of teams go, they didn't win their conference tournament. How come they're doing so well in the NCAA tournament? Because it's a better setup. You get a day off in between your games, and there's just – it's not the grind that you see day in and day out of a conference tournament. It's survival of the fittest.
Yeah, if you're in that locker room, again, these guys want to win every game.
Absolutely.
If you're in that locker room in Iowa State, though, you know what's going to happen on Sunday. You have a really good idea where you're going to be. So it's not necessarily what are you playing for. That's not what I'm getting at here. But this is not, again, you don't need to put all your eggs in the basket of this. And by the way, Travis, except for those injuries, yesterday, that's as complete as Iowa State has looked. And I want to be careful here because they've looked like one of the best teams in the country at times this year. And yesterday they showed that team. complete play. You're getting dominant guard play. You're dominating in the paint. The big guys are playing as good as I've seen them play, over the course of a game. This is one of those situations. Remember a couple weeks ago when they're struggling, we're like, you want to be playing your best basketball here in a couple of weeks. I don't necessarily know that yesterday was their best basketball, but man, that's as good as they've been in a couple of weeks, I think is probably the best way to say it. Let me go back and look and see, Travis, when's the last time they played that complete? I mean, they just did beat the crap out of K-State. That was a good one.
I'd say K-State.
The win in Arizona is pretty dominant. They've been again. Take away that BYU loss, which was a tough game. Maybe we have seen without, as we zoom out here, maybe it has been this steady tick up into playing their best basketball. That yesterday it jumped out at me. Maybe it was the fact that even as Cincinnati was starting to hit their stride, it never felt close. Even in that second half when it's a 4 or 5 point game and they're inching back up on it, it just felt like at no point Iowa State was in jeopardy. And then it almost I had to go back today to realize it wasn't a 20-point game the whole time. That felt like a 20-point game most of the time. A very comfortable Iowa State win, dominant on both ends, dominant inside and outside. Exactly what you wanted it to be, with the exception of those guards going down.
So going to be the first game up today, an 11:30 tip against BYU. BYU has not played yet. They got like that double bye. So BYU ranks 17th in the country. They're 23-8. Of course, we're just at Hilton Coliseum last week. Got the win. Kind of surprised a lot of people on that Cyclone Senior Day. But BYU, I think, would have the advantage here, Ross, just because they've got the fresher legs, right? I mean, Iowa State played yesterday. BYU got to sit back, scout, and not have to play.
We're going to find it. Remember yesterday we were talking about that. Is that an advantage to have to sit and wait or not? And I think the advantage also, Travis, is that you just got that win. That's a confidence. That's got to be a confidence thing. I mean, we've all been a part of competitions like that. When you win, and then that same opponent is coming around the corner, you go, oh yeah, we just did this. We just did this, and they know we're better than them.
Other games today in Kansas City would be some good. There's some good ones today. Of course, you got Iowa State against
this conference tournament's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I went to bed last night. I brought up the Peacock app to watch the Iowa game, and the app came up, and then I hit play, and they're like, "Oh, you're out of the country. You're not allowed to watch this because of copyright laws." So I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it." But I'm following along with the Kansas game, which went really late into the night here in Italy. And, that game went to overtime. Kansas got by UCF 98-94. This Kansas team, I can't figure out, Ross. It's got so much talent. I mean, the collective brain power of most of the college basketball world when this season started was they've got so much talent. That's why they started number one. They're not ranked right now. Had to go to overtime basically at home in Kansas City to beat UCF. And I just cannot figure this Kansas team out and nobody's scared of Kansas. Remember when Kansas used to intimidate people? Like you were like, oh my God.
Yeah, and I think that there's still some of that lingering. And we'll see when we get into March. Like you said that it's a couple weeks ago. Like that's a team nobody wants to see Kansas on that line, and that's what that is. The old Mariano Rivera thing. You're going to see Kansas on the line. You're going to strike yourself out in the batter's box or in the on deck circle. My first instinct, Travis, when you say, I don't know what's wrong with this Kansas team, my first instinct is to jump in and go, they're not very good.
And I think there's a lot to say to that. I just say that, yeah.
And in basketball, you've got it. We are seeing at Drake what happens when you're a good team, when five dudes know each other really well. Kansas is just not a good team right now. They're not the sum of their parts. Because you're right, individually, unbelievable talent. I forgot they were the preseason number one team in the country.
Yes.
Man, when was the last time we had a preseason number one not be ranked in college basketball at the end of the year? Because most of the time that preseason number one's got the 3 or 4 guys it would need to be able to carry a team and stay in the top 25.
And they were there for the longest time, but I think people tried to keep them there. But it just got to the point where, they just kept losing and losing and losing. It's not – they still have over 20 wins on the year. But it shows you the high regard we put a Kansas team, right, is that the talent's there, but they just kept falling? That's a good question. We may have to, during the break, do a little recon thanks to AI makes things really easy now. You just put something into Grok or you put it into even like the Gemini. It finds it for you. But the last time a number one team wasn't in the top 25 going into the NCAA tournament. I mean, it probably won't be as long as we thought, but Kansas is so close
It'll be
to
like
us.
Last year was actually the time it
Yeah.
happened, right.
Darren DeVries and Colorado or in West Virginia lost yesterday. That was
what was that?
I
What
know.
was that slip there? Wait a minute. What does insider Travis Justice know
No,
about
no,
Darren
no.
DeVries going to Colorado? Huh?
No. They lost to Colorado. 67 to 60. They're kind of on that bubble, right? They're kind of on that bubble and losing. I know you'll hear the committee doesn't put a lot of stock into the conference tournaments, but getting beat your first time, that may, especially if there's some, bracket stealers out there.
Travis, what I hear when I hear that the committee doesn't put a lot of stock in conference tournaments, it is more about that conference champion. I think they, like last year with Iowa State and Houston, I think they look at that and go, we're not necessarily looking at your March seeding based on individual games within this tournament.
Yeah.
But when you're a bubble team, this is a definite resume definer. I mean, it's the last look that the committee gets at you, is what happened in this last game and your last chance to really play with your back against the wall. This is the best indication of how you're truly going to be in March. And he fell short. I think that means that weighs heavier in the committee's mind. That's what I hear when they say we don't put a lot of stock in the conference tournament. That doesn't necessarily mean we're not looking at how you've been playing these last few games. That's what they're really looking at. How have you been in these last couple of games? Now, you get to the conference tournament, you beat a Houston. Doesn't necessarily guarantee that we're going to put you ahead of Houston in the rankings. But, man, if you're a bubble team and we're watching you closely and with scrutiny and you lose this game that we thought you were supposed to win with your back against the wall, that's what that means, I think.
You got Colorado, which is 14-19 on the season. They need to win the whole thing if they want to have any chance at any postseason tournament, right? They're going to take on number 2 Houston. That game, I'm in Italy time right now, so that'll be following the Iowa State BYU game. And then the other game, you got 2 other games tonight. Baylor taking on Texas Tech.
Stop.
You like those sirens, don't you? You like those sirens here in Europe.
It makes me feel like I'm watching Doctor Who or something.
What do you think people would react to if we changed our sirens to the European sirens, like in Des Moines? You hear those?
No.
Are they more scary
I like my freedom sirens.
Is that what it is? Is that what you call it? A freedom siren?
That's what I call it. I just coined that term. I'm just going to Pat Riley that right now. Trademark TM Circle R.
I think you should. Freedom siren, baby. Freedom siren. Get that shirt made.
But I do. There's something about that different cadence.
Yeah.
Feels like they're going to save the queen or something.
I heard one about 3 a.m. last night. I was like, oh.
And then different words for that.
You're like, oh, somebody dying? What's going on?
They bet at 3 a.m. You better be dying. Try to sleep.
Yeah, I'm. My window is right outside the Duomo, so it's one. Busy
Your window
area.
goes to the outside.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the window now, so I'm getting the natural light. See that? I'm just going to flip you off. Is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give you the finger.
Oh,
that's fair.
We think we're funny. Remember,
we do think we're funny. Baylor takes on Texas Tech, and then you've got what might be the best game of the night down there is Kansas, Arizona. That's going to be a good one. So a loaded Big 12 tournament slate today. To me, Ross, I look at this and I know the Big Ten's got a good tournament. The SEC's going to have a good tournament. Just maybe it's our familiarity with these teams. I just look at all the games today and go, man, what a loaded docket.
This is, if you are a college basketball nut, man, I think this week is just, it's like 1B to to next week, right? Or in a couple weeks when you get that, or next week. Gosh, when you
Next
get
week
this,
or next Thursday, or really next
Thursday and Friday,
Monday.
That's the nectar right there. Is next Thursday and Friday. But if you are a basketball junkie, Trav, this conference tournament week is so much fun. You get so much basketball, such high-level basketball. Most of these teams are playing with their back against the wall like we were talking about. So it is a win or go home type of situation. You see the emotion. You see these guys that we taught, that the light at the end of the tunnel is coming, man. That train is coming fast. And they are playing with their absolute balls to the wall, and that's fun to see. It really is. So let's see. Let's go through today. Going to tip off at 10 a.m. with Bowling Green at Akron. Georgia Tech and Duke's at 11. That'll be fun. Indiana and Oregon is the Big Ten game. You said Iowa State, BYU, 11:30.
That Indiana-Oregon game is an interesting matchup. It really is, because Indiana's, with Woodson on the outs, this team has turned into a bubble team, and like, it's interesting to watch team dynamics, play for their coach, right?
Yes.
It's either cash it in and say it's over, or you rally. This Indiana team's rallied for him.
Is that what we saw with the Hawkeyes?
Maybe.
Is that what we're seeing? I mean, Trav, this is the first time that they've won back-to-back games since they were 3-2 in the Big Ten.
So you got to go back to
it's like
January?
Oh, yeah. Like, in fact, I'll find the date for you here.
You bring up the Hawkeyes, and this was the interesting part when it comes to the Hawkeyes. And I think I knew this, but, you always need a refresher. And Chad Leistico is very good at giving the refresher on Twitter. Ross, if they win today, if they beat Illinois today, it will be just the third time since 2007 the Hawks have won more than 2 games at the Big Ten tournament.
I saw Chad's tweet about that, his crazy stat tweet.
Yeah.
And it is, when you see that, I mean, it does feel like piling on at some point, but these stats are crazy. I'm trying to get to it right now so I can get to Chad. What was it? You had since 2007?
Yes.
The second time you've actually won 2 games. If they win, it'll be
it'd be the third. It'd be the third time they've won 2 games. Because then they go the year they won it, they went 4-0.
No, Travis.
They've never won back 2 games.
This would be the second time they've won 2 games since 2007. The only other time was the 2022 year when they went 4-0 and won the tournament.
Wow. That
Travis,
is a crazy stat.
Since 2007, if you remove that 4-0, he only has 6 wins in the Big Ten tournament. 1 in 12, 1 in 13, 1 in 18, 1 in 19. I take that back. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 6 wins since 2007 if you take away the 4-0 run. And that includes yesterday's win. Today will be they're going for their second 2-win performance in the Big Ten tournament since 2007.
Wow. And that predates Fran McCaffrey. I mean, that includes little Todd Licklider. That includes Steve Alford. Because Fran McCaffrey came in 2010, because this is year 15. So that would include Licklider, and I think, 1 year, maybe 1 or 2 years of Alford?
Wild.
That is wild.
And it's the Big Ten tournament. Again, how many years since 2007 has the Big Ten been the best conference in basketball? Not very many. Been up there. Always been in that top 4. But, man, you played some Northwesterns in there.
You had some good year. The year, Luka?
That's why I've been trying to, that's what Hawkeye basketball is, man. I hate to, it breaks my heart when I have to zoom out and look at it. You go, oh, yeah. And then we do what we throw all these things out there like, well, we're not a basketball school. I mean, it is Iowa.
That's how you justify things in your head.
That's how you justify losing. Yeah.
It wasn't a mandate.
We can't compete. You think we're supposed to play with Michigan State every year?
How do you expect us to play with Purdue?
Yeah.
Well, they played with Ohio State yesterday, and they looked good playing with Ohio State yesterday.
Yeah. How many times have Iowa State fans said, "Well, we're supposed to compete with Kansas"? What? That's not fair.
They did that for the longest time. They don't do that anymore.
They don't do that anymore.
Because they don't have to anymore.
And Hawkeye fans someday will not do that. Someday Hawkeye fans will look around and go, oh, could have been like this.
Just took that much time. Then they'll talk about culture.
No, took the right guy.
Right guy.
Right guys. People. Because now you got Beth Getz over there. Because it took Jamie Pollard and it took TJ Otzelberger and it took a whole team of people to be able to do it and flip it and keep it. And it's the same thing. You just got to find that magic. It's that easy. Just bottle lightning.
Just bottle that lightning up. It's easier said than done, as we're starting to find out. Hey, don't forget, you can listen to the Rush Radio Show all day long at therushladio.com. Very simple. Just click that Listen Live button, and you'll be able to hear a replay of the show. You can also find our social media channels on therushladio.com, as well as the podcast version of the show. It's good to have you along on a Thursday morning. Bruno's going to be in about an hour. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive at therushladio.com.
March is a perfect time to buy at Willis Chevrolet of Granger. Drive home with low lease payments and special financing options for 2025 Equinox and Traverses. 2.9% APR for 72 months plus up to $7,500 in federal tax credits for eligible buyers. 2025 Equinox EVs and Blazers EVs. At Willis Chevrolet of Granger, we're here to make your car buying experience easy, stress-free, and friendly. Stop by today or visit us online to lock in these savings before they're gone.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage & Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage & Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage & Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Hi, I'm Steve Ollinger, Service Director here at Willis Nissan. On February 12th, the Iowa State Patrol reported over 170 accidents during the snowstorm. This month, February through April 30th, we are offering purchase 3 tires and get the 4th for $1 to keep you safe on the roads. Go to willisnissan.com to schedule your appointment today.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show at therushladio.com. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. If you're listening on the stream, thank you so much. We got got some news coming about the stream, hopefully in a week or two, and got to get some things but we're going to make it much easier for you to find it on the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on X, Facebook, and of course Instagram. Ross, we just had our commercial break, but we did want to talk about Corey at Bats and Bugs because it's warm outside. I mean, it is very, very warm outside, and when the warmth starts coming, the bugs start finding their way in. And if you want to get rid of your bugs, and he's not an exterminator, but he's going to get rid of your bugs, he's going to offer Rush listeners a 10% discount. That's awesome. 10% on your very first treatment.
Going to be 70 degrees next week. It's going to go from 70 to 25 in like a 2-day span next week.
Wow.
And, yeah, those temperature fluctuations get some things happening, and you're going to get some critters moving around. You see anything, notice anything, we got the guy for you, Corey at Bats and Bugs. I'm actually going to have lunch with him, I think, on St. Patty's Day.
Really?
We're going to meet over at Lucky Horse, and I think that's our plan. Probably shouldn't have told people that.
Because people are going to show up and say, where's Ross and Corey?
There's going to be a mob of people to see me and Corey.
I'm just going to pull up a seat. We're going to talk bugs.
Come to Lucky Horse. Sure, get to Lucky Horse. We'd love to see you there.
Ross isn't buying, though. He bought pizza for all the teachers yesterday, so he's not buying. If you're going to sit down with Ross, he's not buying for you.
Huge hit, dude. Truman's, the variety that they have down there, like when I dropped those off, I had a French dip pizza. There's a margarita pizza. It was so easy. I had gluten-free. There was no pork. There were a few different vegan, you know what I mean? And I just gave them that list and said, can you guys help me out with this? And within seconds, they're like, yeah, we would do this lineup of pizzas. Perfect. Do that. And yeah, huge hit. So big thanks to Truman's, and big thanks to Ross Peterson at Agency Iowa for providing those pizzas to the teachers.
Well, it's getting warmer outside. You know what that means, Ross? People get the itch to move. They get the itch to move.
I know. I'll be showing houses today. Showing some places over in Altoona today.
We talked briefly about the Hawks. They got a win over Ohio State yesterday. Close game. Fun game to watch. Brock Harding hit that big three, I think, in the last 20 seconds of the game that kind of put it out of reach. But getting a win at the Big Ten tournament, they get the win. Today's the big one. They play Illinois, which has been playing incredible basketball really since they beat Iowa like a drum in Champaign-Urbana. This is a tough matchup for the Hawks. They're going to have their hands full today.
I think, Trav, what we saw yesterday was exactly what we were just talking about. A team that is – not necessarily like Indiana playing knowing that their coach is done, but, man, the noise is so loud. The smoke is so thick that this team has to – even if they aren't feeling it on a personal level of, okay, the end of my playing days are racing at me, they've got to be feeling that as some sort of unit, some sort of team. The guy that brought them to Iowa, I think that's what we're seeing. And I hope that plays off today because it'd be great to see this team get a third win. Be great to see them start to get the ball rolling in that direction. And I think, Travis, we did yesterday, like I said with Iowa State, when you've got Dix and Sanford hitting like that, I love Brock Harding. When Brock Harding's playing like that, not only doing what he can do to facilitate, but he's hitting shots. They look like that team that we've talked about, where you look and go, oh, yeah, these guys can absolutely compete. Can that team yesterday beat Illinois? Yeah, they can. We haven't seen all year that team be able to show up on a consistent basis.
Well, I wonder, and this is the mentality of it, and it's hard to pinpoint it. But we talked about it briefly in the last segment, but I want to bring it up again. It may be freeing to just go out and play. Hey guys, you don't have to. There's no pressure on you because if you lose, you're not going to the NCAA tournament. It's kind of like just go out there, have fun, make good decisions, play good basketball, and don't worry about the big stuff because you can't control it. So if this team was like a guarantee, and you're wondering where they're going to be seated, that adds a little bit more pressure. Here you're like, go out and play. You just wonder what that does mentally.
I think you're nailing it, dude. I think you're nailing it. Today's a tough matchup.
It is.
I mean, there's no easy matchups from here on out. No matter, there's nothing easy. And I don't know, again, like we talked about going into yesterday, what would a win over Ohio State do? I'll tell you what it did, Travis, that I didn't anticipate. And I want to be really careful here because, as we've said many times, hope is a dangerous thing.
It is. Hope is dangerous.
And I don't think there's a way for this team to play themselves back onto the bubble or back. But I will tell you, watching that game yesterday, it did give me that tiny bit of hope. I don't know what I'm saying here. I don't know. I don't think it's hope that they're going to play well enough to get to the NCAA tournament. I don't think it's hope that they're going to get to the Big Ten finals. I don't know. Hope that they're going to show up again tonight against Illinois. Hope that they're going to battle. Maybe hope that we're going to get a Friday matchup. I don't know, but it did increase. Something happened yesterday as they pulled away at the end of that game. I went, yeah, Hawks, here we go. Great day to be a Hawkeye.
Yeah, you're not rooting against them.
No, exactly. Want them to win, but again, let's just have that same conversation we did yesterday. What would beating Illinois mean? Man, now all of a sudden there's a third quad one win. Remember, they didn't have one a week ago. You'd have 3 quad one wins. You're an 18-win team on the season. It's just not enough. It's not enough. And so, and I don't think it's enough to change my mind about next year. I mean, we had the conversation about those attendance numbers that came out. Again, it's great to win. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm a Hawk fan. When the ball tips in the air, it's all Hawks. Zoom out. What does it mean for next year? In June, we aren't going to care that they beat Illinois.
I had this conversation yesterday, and yes, I know I'm 3,000 miles away from home, but I find myself on my phone texting and having conversations with people about Iowa basketball. And recency bias is a problem with everybody, right? Like when I do my employee reviews, when you sit down and go through your training for reviews, they're like, hey, just make sure you don't have recency bias, meaning if they've done something bad, you look at the span of the year. Well, that's kind of hard, right? But it's also the other way. If they've done something really great recently, that doesn't reflect a performance for the whole year. So this came up in a conversation yesterday as we were talking about Fran McCaffrey, and I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. And this person looked at me and goes, hey, Fran's great, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that haven't gone well. There's other things that have happened because, if anything, he got us back to Tom Davis level of basketball. And the recency bias kicked in. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, no, he really did. He goes, he's had more upper division finishes in the Big Ten than Tom Davis, and more wins than Tom Davis. And I'm like, okay, you can give me those stats, but I think feeling is a part of it, right? And maybe I appreciate Tom Davis 25 years later than I did today than his last year.
I don't think what you're experiencing here is recency bias. I mean, look at the relevance of Hawkeye basketball. I can't argue. You've had Luka. You've had some high performers, right?
Yeah,
terrific. But that's not what we're talking about. That's not those things. You're right. Those are the marks on the chalkboard that can start that conversation. But, man, the feel around Iowa basketball, what I think the perception of Iowa basketball is, maybe it's almost the opposite of recency bias, right? Where maybe we are lifting up the past. Maybe we have fonder memories of what Hawkeye basketball was in the early 90s. That's an interesting conversation. I mean, Travis, now that maybe it's closer than I would have thought. You're right, and your friend is right. It's closer than I would have thought, but I think it's tailing. I mean, look at the attendance numbers. That if you want to know how the fan base is feeling about a program, look at how the season tickets are going. That's your best indication of your finger on the pulse. You want to know how much life there is in the program? How fast do we sell these tickets? That's the number one indicator of pulse of a fan base, and there's none. So I think I'd push back on that a little bit. And I'd say there might have been a time when Fran was right there with Tom Davis. He had the program back, and he did bring it back to that point. And thank you for that, Coach McCaffrey. But it's starting to slip now, and that's obvious in every other one of those metrics. Besides, he has the most wins of all time, and he produced some great players. Those things are true. He almost didn't make the conference tournament. They just won back-to-back games for the first time since January 11th.
That's a crazy stat. And then you look at the Big Ten tournament action, since he's been on board. You take away the conference tournament year, the year they won it. That was just his second win.
This could be the first time he wins 2 games outside of that conference tournament run in 2022. So you just can't. It's really hard to say right now he's got it at the same point that Tom Davis had it at. It's really hard to say that when season tickets are dipping, when you've got 5,000 people showing up at games. My buddies we were in the text group. We're talking about this the other day. And these guys are most of my friends at the agency. A lot of those guys are Iowa State fans. Most of them went to Iowa State. You got a few like me and Bency holding down that Hawkeye fort over there. And the conversation started of like, wait a minute, did you guys see these numbers? Did you guys hear that? Were you guys listening to the Rush when they were talking about this? Did you guys hear this? 5,000 people showing up at some games. Like,
Hell,
could you guys? Could you
a lot
imagine
less than
Hilton?
that? You take the average out of you take the Wisconsin game out, the Iowa State game, and those numbers would be in the 4,000s because you had 3 games where they did really well. After that, those ticket scan is going to go a lot less.
Right. Good point. And they're like, what does that place look like when you got 5,000 people in there? Not kidding. I said, guys, during Size House of Trivia, Hilton has more energy than some of those Carver Hawkeye games. And I kind of chuckled, and I thought, I'm not kidding. I've been in both.
I can't remember. Did it get that bad under Tom Davis? I don't think it did it?
I don't think it did either. I don't remember because I was just kind of coming to consciousness. I hate to make you feel like you're that old, but you are.
Thank you. I appreciate the reminder. You didn't have to do that.
I know I didn't have to. I wanted to. I wanted to.
I know you did. I know you were just. I just had to sit it on the tee for you, and then you had to just hammer it out of the ballpark.
I would be interested to know if folks that were paying attention to this sort of stuff then or can recall that. I don't remember it being like this, Travis. I mean, during any of that time, again, I'm born in 78, so Lute Olson, George Raveling, Tom Davis, even during Steve Alford, it seemed to me like the apathy hit a peak during those. That Licklider time was just a bad move, and it sucked. The Alford thing had pissed some people off. That interest level was diving, and Licklider was the wrong guy at the wrong time, and it bottomed out. That is what Fran should get the credit for doing, was taking that and turning it around. Having that longevity, stick around, become the most winningest coach of all time. That's the legacy. But I don't remember any of that time as a kid, this sort of fan apathy. People loved Hawkeye basketball. I mean, hell, when Fran showed up, do you remember what his first little motto was? It's time to get mad again.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
It's time for you to care. Now, maybe that was the wrong message for Iowa. Maybe because we don't like being mad. We're Iowa nice, right? Maybe that was the wrong message, and maybe that's one of the places that connectivity missed.
I remember the day that Todd Licklider was hired. It was interesting because I was on a plane flying to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Dana Altman had just taken the Arkansas job. And I knew Dana pretty well back then. Dana would have loved the Iowa job. He would have taken the Iowa job, and that would have been a perfect fit coming off Steve Alford. Because, I mean, Dana Altman has spent 15 years now at Wisconsin or at Oregon. He's been to the Final Four. You just look back, and this is the danger, and we're going to see it this year with coaching changes. There's going to be a lot of coaching changes coming up. Indiana's looking for a coach. And the danger is going after the guy who gets hot right away, right? That not saying that Ben McCollum isn't going to be successful wherever he goes, but Jeff Goodman brought it up with us last week. He loves Ben McCollum. He's done great things, but there are no guarantees if you take that next job. Look at Keno Davis. Keno Davis.
So many examples.
Yeah, there's so many examples. Like, man, you didn't be able to replicate it. Well, it's you don't always replicate wherever you go to. It changes things up. Todd Licklider was the hot name at the time, but look what he was coming off. He had great, he followed great coaches at Butler, and then he's the benefactor of you had a good roster in place, you had good players there, you win, and you get the hell out of Dodge, and then you really got to perform, and he just didn't do it. And you wonder how many other coaches were on that list before Iowa basketball went into the tank. Now, you're right. Fran McCaffrey got Iowa out of the tank, and that's why people go, be careful what you ask for, because there are no guarantees when you hire a coach. Just no guarantees.
Tony gave us a little bit of insight here. Tony says, I'm 67, graduated in 82. Oh, sorry. Did I do that?
Yeah, you did that.
In 82, he says, during a Licklider era was the first I recall the apathy rather than the discontent. That's a good word for that. Discontent was what people felt during Steve Alford.
And
Great
the discontent
word.
was because of Pierre Pierce, right? I mean,
because of, again, Steve Alford wasn't an Iowa guy. He was an L.A. guy. He was West Coast. And I get it. He went to Indiana. I know.
And he's from Indiana, but I know what you mean.
Come on, slicked back hair. He was not. He wasn't Iowa. Discontent. What a great word for that. Yeah, I think that the Pierre Pierce thing was just the epitome of all of that, Travis. It was all the other stuff that you heard behind the scenes. I mean, again, as a teenager in Des Moines, Iowa, I knew about him going into the John Deere dealership, right? You heard all of these stories about how Alford was just not that community guy.
And some coaches just aren't. And if you win and win at a high level, you can get away with it, right?
Winning cures a lot, man.
Winning cures a lot. But if you're not winning at a high level, and really making a dent, yeah, it's hard. You need to connect some in a different way. And I mean, it took Kirk Ferentz 3-4 years to turn a winner around, but he connected, and people were patient. I mean, he took over. Again, we've talked about it on Sound Off. Hayden Fry didn't do him any favors when he left that pro. It was pretty bad. It was really, really bad.
I mean, Hayden had slipped. There's no other way to put it. Hayden had slipped, and Kirk Ferentz had a lot to do to rebuild and then grab onto what was left of that culture and build off of that. That was a really tough job. Right guy for that job at that time.
Let's take a look at the other Big Ten games that are going on today, because Iowa plays the last game against Illinois. Got a full slate today in the Big Ten.
I had the schedule up in front of me, Trav, but then I went back here because I wanted to see.
Indiana, Oregon is that first game, followed by Northwestern and Wisconsin. Here's what cracked me up about Iowa's win. I want to go, and the Big Ten actually kind of made fun of itself. Did you see Brock Harding? You know how the big thing now is teams go slap the sticker on the bracket. You know how they get all excited to gather around the bracket?
Right. Yeah.
Brock Harding went to do it. It took him like 4 times. It wouldn't stick. Slapped it on there, fell off, put it back up there,
the Big
fell
Ten
off.
didn't believe in us. They didn't even put stick 'em on the back of our name.
So the Big Ten sends out a tweet with the video. Maybe we use magnets next year. Yeah, that might be a pretty good idea. Might be a really, really good idea.
I didn't see that. That's funny.
Jeez. Yeah, it's a piece of stickum. It's not that hard.
That's funny. The tape didn't work. That was, watching the end of that game yesterday, Travis, there was that moment of inspiration, hope that, again, that Hawkeye fandom kicks in and you go, yeah, this team. You start to think about it. Well, now, wait a minute. Like Andrew Downs put out that tweet. He said, after tonight's win, the Hawks are only 6 wins away from the Sweet 16.
But, that's the right way to look at it.
Maybe it was 7. I don't remember.
That's the right way to look at it.
That is. AD is the eternal optimist Hawkeye fan. Like, it's unbelievable how optimistic that guy is as a fan. There is a part of Andrew that does believe that that's going to happen, I promise you.
Yeah, because you're doing the math. You're like, it's possible. They're still playing.
And that's my point, Travis. There was, even for a cynical fan like me, like, man, if we can get 15 points out of Brock off the bench, if Dix and Sanford are shooting like this, if you get paint play like that without Freeman, hell yeah. Come on, Hawkeyes. What are the chances tonight against a ranked Illinois team? What are the chances, even if what does it mean? Again, I'm taking the path with Iowa basketball that I took last night, and I'm going to take with every game here on out. In my mind, they're going to lose. If they win, it's just gravy. You feel better. You're like, okay, all right, I can get behind this. I don't go into games expecting wins. You shouldn't.
Is that a good attitude or a bad attitude?
Yeah. I think with this Hawkeye team, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. That's what we've learned over the course of this season. I'm not being. This is not cynical, Ross, coming out. This is realistic. Watching the game, you have not seen over the course of this season enough consistency to put any hope in that team that we saw yesterday is going to show back up. Again, first back-to-back win since January 11th. Do you know when the last time they won 3 straight games was, Trav?
November.
You'd have to go. Let's see. I'll pull it up for you here because you got to go back a ways. Last time they won 3 straight would have been when they beat New Orleans, Utah, and New Hampshire. And that New Hampshire game happened on December 30th.
So it was in December. And look at the teams.
It was last year.
And look at the teams you just brought up. I mean, they're nothing teams, right?
New Orleans, Utah, and New Hampshire. I mean, they beat New Orleans 104-57.
Beat Utah in Sioux Falls.
And New Hampshire, they beat 112-70. That's the last time this team won 3 straight. Let's hope, man. What an awesome story this would be.
I mean, we see it every year. Why not Iowa?
Why not us?
Why not Iowa? That's probably the best way to look at it. Where are you watching the games tonight? You going to be with your dad?
Probably watching with my dad tonight, yep. Cyclone game is going to be a little bit different for me, okay? Because showing some houses in Altoona around 11. And then our buddy Jay from JCD and Hobby is having his official ribbon cutting at his Ankeny store at noon today. And so I want to go up there and support my buddy Jay and pick up some stuff. I had a closing last month that Jay was getting some gifts, getting a gift for me because the guy is a gamer.
Really?
So that was, yeah. He's a guy I grew up with and a guy I grew up with sister. They got married and then helped them sell their house and move to a new home in Norwalk. But the guy that I grew up with is a gamer, plays this one specific game online that I'd never heard of.
Does he make money gaming? Is he like a moneymaker
I don't
gamer?
Think, no. He's got a corporate job. He's got a good job. So he he just games for the fun of it. This is what he does in his free time. So that was a hard one for me to buy a gift for. So I reached out to Jay. Said, "Hey man, do you know this game?" Of course I do. Can you get me some merch for it? Of course I can.
I'm trying to think if I was a gamer, how my wife would react. It's not like I do laundry. I do my own laundry. I don't do anybody else's laundry. But I don't vacuum. I don't do dishes.
What do you mean you don't do anybody else's laundry?
Because I do my laundry. That way I take it off of her things to do. I'm like, honey, I got my laundry. Don't worry about my laundry.
I don't know if I like this.
Really?
Let me look within and see why why I don't like this.
Well, because and I think because I've gotten yelled at too many times. And what I mean by that is like I don't know what can and can't go in the dryer. So if something's in the wash, it automatically goes in the dryer.
Okay. All right.
And you're like,
there are things that can't. There are things that shouldn't go in the dryer.
Yes. There are things that should not go in the dryer, and I've learned that the hard way.
Can you help me with this? What's not supposed to go in the dryer?
Well, you got to read the label, and you got to be.
There are labels?
There are labels that will say, air dry. Usually a really nice blouse, type of fabric that's a pant. Just saying. I learned the hard way. I'm like, you know what? I'll just do my own. I'll do my own. You do yours. We'll be good to go. See, even Dusty said she hit the lottery with me. Exactly.
Dusty says, "Wow, your own laundry? She hit the lotto with you."
That's right. That's how good of a guy I am.
I'm not sure if you could tell that, but that was the sarcastic font that Dusty had put on that. I'm not sure if you could see that.
I would disagree with that. There are a lot of guys who are listening to this right now going, yeah, I've done the same thing. My wife's yelled at me because you put something in the dryer that shouldn't have gone in the dryer. You shrunk something. You ruined the fabric. Just messes the whole thing up. I try to make life easy for everybody in my life.
But there's something about this that feels like I'm going to take my ball and I'll go home. Okay, fine. Then I'll just do my own laundry.
There might be something to that. You
might be on to something.
You might be on to something, but I'm spinning it in my own brain how I see this working. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing.
Hold up. Is this real? I'm amazed by this stuff every day, and I'm sorry if we're running a little bit behind here. Your iPhone has a built-in laundry tag reader? What?
There you go, Ross. All you have to do is put the iPhone up, scan the laundry tag, tell you whether or not
Guys,
to
listen,
dry it or
I'm going
not.
to tell you, I think that you've all been brainwashed. I really do. I do all the laundry here at my house. And I'd never separate colors. It all is one big basket, okay?
You're giving me a panic attack right now that you don't separate colors. You are giving me a panic attack.
You don't need to do it, Travis.
Oh, I would disagree. Do you know how many times? Listen, I'm wearing a white shirt underneath here, okay? I promise you, you put that in with a fresh set of reds, this thing's coming out fuchsia, all right? Unless you're doing everything on cold, and you are literally giving me a panic attack. I would walk into your house, and you'd
do it.
You would load that thing up, and I'd be like,
yeah, you would hate it. Courtney gets mad because I go, full fruitcake, and I just dump the basket in there. And she's like, quit yelling, you're a fruitcake.
We got an hour in the books. We got an hour to go. Bruno's going to be in the studio in about a half hour to join us.
Hold on. Hold on. This is not happening. I'm not letting this stuff fly, okay? Jared says you can't do towels with clothes. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. In fact, most loads have a towel in them, and the clothes come out just fine. What does that mean? You can't do towels with clothes?
It's too heavy. You just got to separate the towels.
What do you mean too heavy?
It's too heavy. If you have, you just do the towels separately. It's you put it on a heavier cycle. You got
Kevin
permanent
says
press. You got normal.
Kevin says that's why I look like I'm wearing an extra small schmedium every morning. My clothes fit great. The hell? I'm telling you, you guys have fallen. This is like when people say McDonald's French fries are good. No, you've just been told that they are. You've just been brainwashed, guys.
Even Frank.
What the hell? What have I been? What, guys? Why? My towels can't go with my clothes?
No, and Kevin brings it up because all the lint that's supposed to go in your dryer lint thing goes on your clothes. Just saying, Ross, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
guys, I don't know what you guys have all been lied to. First of all, I get the impression a lot of you don't actually do laundry.
I do, and I separate it out.
You do your own, and you separate it out, and that's dumb too.
And it's my OCD.
What the hell? This is one of those mind-blowing moments.
You learn something new every day about our listeners. And
I'm not supposed to put the towels in with other clothes? I thought that was like a...
This is kind of a weird day because I actually have people on my side. Most people are like, Trav's a jerk. I actually have people on my side here, which is really good. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll continue the conversation. It is the Rush Radio Show at therushladio.com.
Spring is coming up, and it's a time for cleaning and renewal. Get your spring cleaning started early with a fuel induction service from Willis Volvo Cars. This service cleans out carbon buildup and other deposits from the fuel injectors, intake valves, and combustion chambers. This service can provide fuel efficiency, performance, and power to make sure your Volvo is ready for spring and summer travel. Right now, we are offering 10% off a fuel induction service, so give us a call or head online to willisvolvocars.com.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage and Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage and Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage and Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
When it comes to mortgages, no one is more trusted than Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. With more than 25 years of experience, Gary has been Iowa's top mortgage banker for the past 5 years. With creativity and professionalism, Gary is dedicated to finding unique programs to help you afford the home you deserve. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank/Gary Presnall. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show at therushladio.com, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along on a Thursday. Bruno's going to be hopping on with us in about a half an hour. Make sure to give this video a like if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. And, of course, set up your notifications so you know when we go live. And follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Ross, it's like a mixed bag, right? I mean, it is a lot of people on your side, a lot of people on your side. You know, this is one of those rabbit holes we don't intend to go down in the mornings. It just naturally comes up.
First of all, I need to talk about one other thing that came to my brain during the break there, because one of these meanies was talking about how I don't look good because I wear the wrong size clothes, right? One of these meanies just decided to attack me for no good reason. Some meanie out there. This is the power that girls have over our lives. This is the women, you wield an unhealthy power over us, okay? You don't realize how strong your comments are in our lives. Sorry, I'm getting so emotional here. I'm going to start crying, okay?
He is. He's like tearing up.
So here's what happened. No. I used to wear, if you would have asked me 2 years ago, Ross, getting you a shirt, what size shirt do you wear? I would have said large. Well, I work with a bunch of cute girls at the real estate office, right? Young, cute. And one day they're ordering shirts for us for the agency. And they're like, okay, this guy's this guy. Ross is a medium. And I'm like, no, actually, I wear large. And they didn't even look up from the page. They're like, no, Ross, you're a medium. Like, no, I wear large all the time. And finally, one of them had the balls to look at me and go, we know you wear large all the time. You're a medium. Oh, okay. And then I started wearing medium clothes. And I do think they fit better.
Well, my wife has done this to me recently because all I have in my wardrobe are double and triple X. Couple triple X, a lot of double X. And you know me, I'm like, I'm just going to keep my clothes. Finally, she's like, dude, you don't have an ass because I've lost so much weight that there's no butt back there. Yeah. So what you see me wearing right now, I'm actually wearing larges for the first time ever. And it's still hard for me to get used to. Well, they fit better. I will admit that, but I still have this thing in the back of my brain that's telling me, you're going to get fat again. You're going to get fat again. You're going to get fat again. So I got to be careful. Now, you mentioned women have, incredible control over it. So let's hear from some of the women on this. Michelle's a regular listener. She's awesome. My kids have been doing their own laundry for years, and they give me a panic attack because they don't separate lights and darks. Then their light clothes are dingy, and towels are on their own, ! But then Amy comes back and says, you're fine, Ross. People are working entirely too hard. And that is, they're working smarter, not harder.
What do you mean smarter, not harder?
That you are working smarter, probably not hard. I'm working hard, okay? I'm separating everything out. I'm doing my laundry alone, Ross. So when you throw, this is how bad I am.
I love this. I love that you do your own laundry.
This is how bad I am. There goes the siren again. You hear it? Hear it?
Yeah.
Save the queen. This is how bad I am. I have to do underwear and socks together is a separate load. Then T-shirts and shorts. Then my all whites. Then jeans and sweatshirts. So I'm doing a minimum of 4 loads, mostly 5 loads, depending on how many jeans and sweatshirts I have to go. So T-shirts and shorts.
Something told me there's a percentage of our audience that you just turned on.
You think so?
There's something about that you just did where I was like, somebody heard this and went, God, Trav is sexy. Probably in a softer tone than that, but.
You're like, yeah, I knew I liked that Travis guy. Comes off as a harsh jerk, but man, the fact that he's willing to do 5 loads of laundry just in his own laundry.
This is a fascinating thing to me. Okay, can we get philosophical about
laundry? Let's get philosophical. Yeah,
because I'm having this whole revelation in my brain. Because this is one of those examples of where you and I are very different humans, man. We attack things different. We look at things in a different way, and that's why when we communicate about these things, we always are like, well, wait a minute, this is cool. I get very meta about laundry, but not in the detailed way that you do, Travis. I've had this conversation with my friends about how I see laundry as a metaphor for all sorts of other things. It's work that has to be done. It's not going to stop coming. It's like waves in the ocean. You got to get it done. And if you delay the work, you only make it harder. It's like paying bills. It is a metaphor for all the things in your life. If you delay it, it's going to be harder on the machine. It's going to be harder on you. It's harder. It piles up. Literally, in the laundry case, it piles up. And when you let those things get too big, then they become overwhelming. And that I've seen that. I can tell you the state of my mental health based on how much clean laundry is not folded in my home. Because I'm okay. I don't mind getting the laundry downstairs. I don't mind getting it in the washer. I don't mind transferring it over to the dryer. And then I get it out of the dryer, clean the lint trap, bring the clean clothes upstairs, set it in the living room, and go, I don't want to fold it.
Yeah, because when I showed up at your house, Courtney was folding your laundry.
So you don't have to tell people that. You don't have to tell people that. I do the laundry. You don't have to tell people that. I just have somebody who is crazy, crazy, crazy helpful. And she was over at my house and saw the work that needed. That was something that she could do to help me.
It was like mountains of laundry. Mountains.
That again, Trav, I can tell you the state of my mental health based on that one thing. Because here's what it is, and I figured this out too. When I'm walking, I'm sorry that I told you I was getting in the weeds
No,
here.
because I'm going to come back with something that's going to blow your mind away of why I probably do this, what triggered me.
When I have the clean laundry there and I'm walking past it, that is that subconscious reminder of work that needs to be done. This is work that needs to be done that you're not doing, that you could have done last night. You could have done this morning. When you got done with the show, you could have sat down for an hour. And then it's also one of those things that when you do it, man, it doesn't take as long as you thought it was going to. Like most of the time I turn on a podcast or a TV show and I fold the laundry and and then all of a sudden you're like, well, that didn't take long at all. And now you feel so much better. And then again, a metaphor for all those other things. Once you put in the work, once you get the job done, that's a serotonin release. That's this thing of, I just did that. Now, so you just got to be ready because the waves are coming and you got to keep going. So
here's my serotonin release.
Okay.
And probably why I started getting more detailed and doing more loads but smaller loads, because I was getting sick and tired of maybe having larger loads and I'd get it done and there'd be a sock gone. And so I want to make sure it's a victory, and my serotonin.
That's funny.
And I fold as I take it out of the dryer. So I bring my. So as I take it out of the dryer, I am folding before I move the next one over. So it goes right into the hamper, all clean and folded. So when I bring it upstairs, and my serotonin release is when I do my socks, that I've matched every pair of socks up. I didn't lose a sock in the dryer world.
Do you want to? Can I give you a big anxiety? I don't remember the last time I did a load of laundry and didn't have like 3 single socks. Like I have a gray ankle sock, I have a giant wool sock for shoveling snow, and an orange sock. I don't even own orange. What? Where'd this come from? Oh, the orange is because I mix all the colors in together. Now it all makes sense. I'm kidding. So anyway, yeah, there's how long did we just do 10 minutes on laundry?
Well, no, we actually probably did about a half hour because it started going into the last one. But you know what? People connect with this because people go through this in their lives every single day, right? And WS, I don't know what her name. She goes, "Hey, I'm a mom here. I don't mind doing laundry, hand washing dishes right now." That's a love language my hubs can use any day.
Oh, the talking about laundry. Yeah. I told you.
Yeah.
Sam writes in, oh my gosh, this is one of my things, dude. I'm dumb. And when you saw that pile of laundry, I want to defend myself a little bit on this because you remember what it was like to have teenagers. Man, for Eli, it'll be like, Eli, do you got is there anything in your room you need out of there? Nope, I'm good. Nope, I'm good. And then about the third time you ask, it's like this mountain comes out. Oh, yeah, can you do this? Yeah. So so a little bit of defense there. What Sam just wrote in, when I'm putting clothes in the washer and all of a sudden you reach into the hamper and there's folded clothes. Oh, my God.
But I don't know if he's saying it's like folded clothes going back into the hamper, outrage. I go, well, hold on. Ross, you've been in my house. I got to carry him down. I got to carry him back up. I mean, so to me, a hamper is not dirty. It's a place where you put dirty clothes, dump them out, and then you reload it.
He was referring to your situation of, I thought he was talking about how at his house he'll find clean clothes mixed in with the dirty. Which
he was talking about how I fold the clothes coming out of the dryer and put them in the hamper. I'm like, well, I got to carry them back upstairs. I don't have a same floor washer and dryer. I got it. My house is built in 1943. All the important stuff's in the basement, right?
Yeah. See, I'm with you, Travis. Hamper to me is the same basket. The dirty clothes. I never even thought about that actually. Now that he's saying that.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question when it comes
to the dirty clothes. When I say I don't look at clothes, this is such a weird conversation.
This is the rabbit hole we go down, folks. This is what we do. The beauty of this show has been for a long time. Okay, I'm going to ask you something when it comes to the towels. How often do you reuse a shower towel? Do you use a new towel every time you take a shower?
Not every time, no. But I don't know, a couple of for the kids, yes, because the kids, their hamper, they just throw it in there as soon as they're done. But for mine, I have a towel hanger next to the shower, so I mean that towel never. All it does is dry off my clean body, and then I hang it back up. And so I don't know, 3 or 4 days, sometimes 3-4 days of the same towel.
I'll go 2 weeks. I'll probably use the same towel for 2 weeks.
I feel like at some point it starts to, you grab it and you go to bring it over and you're like, it smells a little musty.
Yeah, once it gets the musty smell, it's time for a new towel. It's like, oh, okay, time for a new one. Yeah. Now, I don't shower every day. I know that sounds a little weird. I don't shower every day. I'm about an every other day.
Morning. That's like first thing I do as soon as I wake up.
I'm an every other day showerer probably, unless I work out or at least or if I built up a sweat or something like that. Eric's like 2 weeks for a towel. I know.
Well, again, if you're not doing it every day, if he just said what, so
yeah.
Okay.
So then it's a week's worth of showers spread over 2 weeks. That's the way you got to look at it.
And Bruno is a cold shower guy.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother beast, dude. I got a couple of buddies that do that, and they get, you want to be an ass kicker? You want to dominate your industry? Wake up in the morning and take a cold shower.
Yeah, I've tried the cold shower thing, and I don't like being cold at all. Like when I see people take, you get CrossFitters, you get triathletes, you get marathon runners, these football and basketball players. If you go to Drake, Iowa State, Iowa right now, you'll walk in and they have like specialized ice tubs. I don't get the ice bath. I'm not making fun of you. It's just not for me. I'm not hopping in 38-degree water. Just not going to do it.
Ice bath ain't for me either.
No.
Just got the proverbial slow day in sports.
No, this is the rabbit holes we start going down.
Sorry, and again, we did not mean this. I promise.
And by the way, this is not. Before we were on a sports station, we're on our own station now, and we'll bring sports in, and we'll weave it in and out.
Listen, our buddies over at Iowa Everywhere, Chris and Chris, are even doing an earlier show. So if you're Hawkeye Cyclone crazy, we did a little bit. We talked.
First full hour was
today.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah, we talked a lot of Hawkeye basketball, and then somehow laundry got brought up.
My OCD. Did you see where Mark Gastineau is suing ESPN for $25 million?
I did not see this.
Mark Gastineau, you might remember, had that conversation with Brett Favre, where he confronted him about the sack on Michael Strahan and basically accused him of costing him money and all this other stuff.
He didn't accuse him. He
called him out.
Favre laid down.
So Gastineau is suing ESPN because he says they edited the video and didn't show those two shaking hands at the end of the conversation, and it damaged his reputation. Because people are like, he says his reputation took a hit because of an edited video that ESPN put out there. I mean, people are looking to sue for anything right now. I want to go to Mark Gastineau and go, okay, did you have would my opinion have changed of you on that conversation if I would have saw you shaking hands? Not really. And I just want to go, you're not as important as what you think. I don't know how you think that damaged your reputation.
Yeah, Trev, that's a weird one. That's a big stretch, and I think that all of that entire episode, including this little final chapter of it, feels like a guy grabbing on to some attention. I mean, and listen, Brett Favre ain't the victim here. Remember, he's been pretty happy about defamations as well.
Yes.
And lost those, just like Mark Astano. This will probably be dismissed at some point, I would imagine. I mean, you went out of your way to go confront the guy. That was the story was, and it did show them shaking hands. Remember, at the end. Not at the end. I don't know. I can't imagine that this is going to go anywhere. I didn't hear that this was happening, and I am disappointed. But at the same time, isn't this just the period on the end of the sentence that said this guy was trying to stay relevant?
I mean, he talks about how, not being the sack leader has costed him money, and now you do a $25 million lawsuit. I'm starting to think, do you not have any money, right? I mean, when you start going after it, which is fine, but it's just like, man, if you want to say $100,000 of damage, I'd probably respect the lawsuit a little bit more. You go $25 million, you're like, come on. Speaking of lawsuits, I don't know if it's going to be a lawsuit. We talked about this on Monday. The track and field situation in Virginia where the girl beat the other runner on the head.
Yeah, did you see her response to that?
Oh my God. She says it was an accident, that the baton got caught up and then
it rolled up her back.
Yeah.
Travis.
The girl had a concussion, possible skull fracture. They filed charges yesterday. And the person who is being accused or charged, she's already done local TV. She's done Good Morning America and said, listen, nobody's having empathy for me. No, they're not. You hit a girl on the head with a baton as you're racing. Nobody's going to have empathy for you. I know you're a teenager, but nobody's going to have empathy for you. And you don't get to ask for empathy. That's one of those big things that drives me nuts. You don't get to ask for empathy.
Yeah, you're right about that, Travis. A lot of things in this world that you do yourselves no favors asking for, and empathy is one of them. Sympathy usually doesn't pay off either. This is one of those situations, man, where people will ask you. This is gaslighting. This is, your eyes are lying to you. You didn't see me reach back and smack that girl in the head with a metal baton. It rolled up her hair. Rolled up her back. I'm the victim in this situation. I'm the victim because nobody can understand how and by the way, did you know what happened last time I raced her? Did you even know about that thing? Because you didn't even know about that. So if I had hit her, it would have been justified anyway. But I didn't even hit her. You go, here's the video. Well, you can, especially in today's day and age, you can watch it. She reaches back and smacks her. The girl instantly crumbles to the inside of the track. It got caught up in her hair. Travis, this is gaslighting, and we get this all the time. We get this all the time in society. And by the way, don't let's not pretend like any of us are above it. We all play that. We all know it works. And so if you get caught, you turn into Shaggy. It wasn't me. I saw you banging her on the sofa. That wasn't me. You had her in the kitchen. That wasn't me. Here's the video of it. No. What you're not understanding is that this thing happened. Your eyes are lying to you. And we hear this all the time, and it works. It works. It works way too often than it should.
So I'm going to show you how old I am.
All right.
Because I these modern day words, I hear it, and I don't know how to. You eloquently put it in a way I could understand. I know what ghosting means. Give me a definition of gaslighting.
So gaslighting, Travis, is exactly that. It comes from when you had gas lights in the house. All right. The theory was that the husband would go in every day and slowly turn off the gas. And as the wife would come home or the spouse would come home and say, hey, it feels like it's getting more dim in the house. It's less bright in here. He'd go, no, it's not. You must be going crazy. You must be going crazy because what you are perceiving as the truth is not true, even though I know it is true. So when somebody is lying to you, and not lying is a little bit different. Gaslighting is that example, right? Where somebody's coming in and they're slowly turning down the light on you. They're slowly putting you into the darkness. And you say, hey, I think I'm being put in the darkness. And they go, no, you're not. No, you're not. While they slowly turn it off in front of you. Your eyes are lying to you. That's what gaslighting means.
Okay, so if I see you in the morning or my wife sees me and she goes, what's wrong, honey? And there is something wrong, but I go, nothing's wrong.
There you go. That's a great example of gaslighting. That's the most common example of gaslighting. And then you're convincing that person to not trust that instinct. That's a form of like mental abuse. You're convincing that person, especially if it's somebody you love, to distrust that instinct, to hear that voice that is true, to hear that voice, that thing in your voice is going, hey, the lights are going dark. And you take that person and you say, hey, that voice, that's lying to you. And then, of course, again, the power that we hold over each other, medium shirts, the power that we hold over each other, you go, that person loves me and they wouldn't lie to me, so I gotta distrust that voice.
So let me bring this back to sports. Two examples. Is it a form of gaslighting if Beth Getz brings back Fran McCaffrey and says, you didn't see 5,000 people in there? I mean, or Jamie Pollard saying, people outside are slobs. Is that a form of saying... to justify what you, there are two different things, but is it a form of gaslighting? Like you're telling somebody what they're seeing, because there may be people who walk outside of Jack Trice Stadium and go, I don't see slobs. I've never seen it that dirty. What's he talking about?
Okay.
Just curious if that's a form of gaslighting.
That could, I don't see the Pollard one I see the Pollard one as a difference of opinion. And this is one of those situations where I like Jamie, and so maybe it's me, your politician's a flip-flopper. My guy changed his mind because he learned new information. Okay. Maybe that's what I'm doing with Jamie there. I just see that, again, Jamie's been pretty consistent on this. Like, man, I don't want that to be what the reputation of Iowa State and blah, blah, blah. Whole other conversation with that. I don't necessarily think that's gaslighting. And the Beth thing with Fran, depending on how that's phrased and sold to us, that could definitely be gaslighting. Let's play out a scenario here. Hawks lose today, and tomorrow Beth Getz has a press release that says, after another exciting 2024-2025 men's basketball season, we are thrilled to announce the contract extension. Hawkeye fans, join me in congratulating this Hawkeye, Coach McCaffrey on another wonderful season. That we'd all sit around and go, that wasn't what?
Yeah.
Successful, wonderful, what? That'd be an example of it. But yeah.
We're going to take a break as Bruno is going to be hopping on the show here momentarily. Good to have you along. If you like laundry talk, if you like Cyclone talk and Hawkeye talk, we've had it all
Psychology,
today.
We just got into it. That's a big
we got
psychological.
It all. We got it all. It is the Rush Radio Show at therushradio.com.
Is something in your attic keeping you up at night? Don't let unwanted guests take over your home. With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's trusted expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly wildlife solutions at a fair price. We safely remove bats, squirrels, raccoons, birds, and more so you can sleep soundly again. For a free estimate, call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400.
You've dreamed about an absolutely organized garage or closet? See it for yourself at Absolute Garage and Closet's beautiful showroom in Urbandale. See the latest in garage storage, custom closet systems, and epoxy flooring applications up close, and imagine how good it will feel to have your garage, closets, or other spaces absolutely organized. Free consultations, friendly service, and quick project turnarounds, Absolute Garage and Closets is ready to bring peace of mind into your home. Visit Absolute Garage and Closets at 3169 99th Street in Urbandale or at absolutegarage.net.
Largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
When it comes to mortgages, no one is more trusted than Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines, Iowa's top mortgage banker for the past 5 years. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
My name is Corey Allen, and I'm a recon tech at Willis Automotive. Worked here for about a year and 3 months. Was an express tech before this. I was in the automotive field before I came here. Needed a different change of pace from, the management and everything, and someone who already works here, who liked how everything was ran, told me about it, told me that there was a spot open, and told me to give it a shot, and I've liked it ever since. A lot of good people that work here. Everyone's willing to share their knowledge. Yeah, I would say that's about it.
Do you have a pest problem? With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
Listen to the Rush Radio Show all day long at therushladio.com, powered by Willis Automotive. Just click that Listen Live button. You'll be able to listen to the show. Just pick it up wherever it is in progress, or you can just, find the start from the beginning on the podcast, which you can also find there. It is Thursday. That means we get to bring in our buddy, our good buddy, who he did some moving over the weekend, getting ready to open the new Fongs. Joining us is Bruno. What up, Bruno?
What's up, y'all?
What you know,
Good
buddy?
to see you.
What's your
Nice to see
background
you.
there?
That is El Bait Shop. I'm outside. It's nice out now. Out on the patio.
Well, see, I was actually going to ask you that question last week. In all seriousness, I know there's a timing issue. When do you want to open up the patio? Because people when it's nice outside, they want to sit on the patio.
Oh, they wanted it open when it turned 70, but we just don't schedule for that. It's
a staffing issue, right, Bruno? I mean, you just need to
more,
have the
more than
extra
anything,
people for that.
Yeah, and then think about when we had our snow. We had nice days in between, and then you get the patio all set up, and they have snow, and then you get, you kind of wait till it's kind of basically like when the Cubs start. That's kind of a good rule of thumb. I'm thinking of the bait shop right now, but we're in. This is the time of year where we start thinking about it all the way around. And just getting everything you start planning for, you start advertising for it, you start talking about it, because before you know it, we'll be there. It's sort of, after March Madness is really kind of the way to go. It's really not that practical to watch or do. Most people want to watch a game outside, I guess, is, what I mean? Like, it's an indoor sport. It's an indoor thing you watch with friends or whatever, or at our bars, which we have that's something I wanted to say. We got a lot of stuff going on. I've been contacted by Drake, and they wanted to have a watch party for the selection show. They want to have, I think they're having folks up at Knapp Center. There's a chance that the women's team might be in a game on Saturday. So they wanted to reach out, make sure we'd have the games on. The Drake games on, and I said, of course. And then they also asked if we'd have it on the tap room. So gearing up for that, that and Fong's opening are kind of our focus is right now. So
that's what Travis was. Go ahead, Travis. Sorry.
No, I'm staying on the patio situation just because I was actually thinking about you last night. I'm walking through the streets of Florence. It's raining outside. It's probably about 48 degrees, and there's a lot of patio seating here, right? And I'm like, it just shows you how different Americans and Europeans are, because you see people out on the patio, and they have covered, and they have like one of those heaters, but they're all in like puffy coats. Like no way in the States would people do this. Like it'd be like, you want me to sit outside at 48 degrees and it's raining outside, even with one heater? That ain't happening.
They do it in like in New York. They do. When you're in New York City, it's seemingly like they have stuff out there all year round. Chicago doesn't work so well that way, right? They get the kind of weather we do, but New York isn't as bad. And so you see that a little bit more, but yeah, they have all these outdoor spaces. I mean, space is dear in Europe. So you're not going to have a restaurant that's like 5,000 square foot and then have a patio when you want it. We do a flip flop. If it's nice, you go in. If you don't, you go in if it's not nice, and you go out if it's nice, and that's how we kind of maintain it. But there, you're like, you can sit in the 5 tables inside or the 50 tables out on the piazza. I was going to say plaza, but you're in Italy.
It's a piazza.
Yeah,
I'm going to go to I'm at the Piazza del Duomo right now. So
piazza is where you have your pizza.
No, it's just a big park.
Kidding.
Is what it is. I know
just kidding. But like, I hung out with my friends in Sweden, and we went over to Copenhagen, and it's that deal. Like, everyone's outside. They have these huge areas where people can go hang out. There's a really cool big place in Copenhagen that's that way in the middle of town. It's just how these cities were made. Most cities, like I say, New York, everyone lives in a cracker box apartment, and their idea of getting out is really literally getting out and going out into town and those things. So we have a lot more space here, so people think a little bit differently. But boy, everyone thinks the same when it turns 70. It's like, why don't you have your patio open? It's like, because it's February, But yeah, so also, I say when the baseball starts, I say when March Madness is over, but also after post St. Patrick's, and that's always a gamble. A friend of the show, Mindy Toyne, has frostbite to this day because we tried to do a outdoor St. Patrick's event in the street.
All I think is Adam Sandler and Blackfoot. Remember what was that? Was that Mr. Deeds? What
Mr.
was
Deeds.
that?
It was Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds, yeah.
He's like, oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurts. He's like, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so St. Patrick's is around the corner too, next week, right? So
yep.
The Royal Mile, as it does, is going to have the Iowa Scottish pipes and drums. And of course, Guinness will be poured perfectly, and we'll be serving green shenanigans. I think that's what that means. That's what Steve will put out there. I came up with green shenanigans a long time ago. It's like this kind of monster with a 1 foot. I don't know if we still use that kind of picture for it, but they're just green drinks that'll get you drunk and have fun. And then we also, of course, have corned beef and hash and all the other good things that the Royal Mile does. There's also St. Patrick's at Truman's. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got DJ Jimmy Jim. It's playing from 1 to 4, featuring Green Bush Light. I don't think Brian Cooney would approve. He doesn't like the coloration of the green, but it's always funny to see the people with the green lips that have been drinking Green Bush Light, Bud Light, Coors Light all day. But yeah, and it's 7th birthday at Truman's on Saturday. So
wow, 7th birthday already.
This coming Saturday, yeah.
I've been bragging about Truman's the last couple of days, Bruno. Super easy process trying to order a bunch of food from Chris and the team over there. So big thanks to them. I didn't even tell you about it, but it was.
Awesome! That's really cool. Hey, Travis, I got a question for you.
Okay. Yes, I do laundry separate, like 5 different loads. Yes.
Oh well, that's
never mind.
That's
Bruno. Do you do your own? Do you do your own laundry?
It's in the wash right now.
Well, no, I mean and I'm not. I'm not.
No.
Do you?
No, it's it's in the washer upstairs right now as we speak.
That's not what I asked, Bruno. Why do you answer questions like we're in a Senate? hearing?
Separately?
Thank you first of all, thank you for the question. I just would like to thank everybody for the time today. Second of all, my laundry currently sits in several different places. Bruno, do you do your own laundry?
I don't understand.
Okay,
I do.
Does your wife put it in the wash machine, or do you put it in the wash machine?
I just said I put it in. I see what you're saying, but I put it in, and I only wash my clothes, and I don't deal with other people's clothes. Everyone in the family does their own laundry. Everyone.
God, I love this guy. I love
even the littlest kid in the family does their own. And God rest his soul, Bill Stewart, my father-in-law. He used to do
brilliant, man.
What he wore that day, it would be in the wash. Pants, socks, underwear, shirt, just that. And then he'd dry it, and then he'd wear it again. I mean, he was like the ultimate, the Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs, wear one thing.
Brilliant guy.
He just wear one thing, put it in the wash. He'd be in the kitchen of the parsonage in his underpants, waiting for his laundry to get done, reading the paper. But I wanted to ask,
man, real quick, man, while you're on Bill, I absolutely loved that guy, Travis. I was lucky enough to know Bruno's father-in-law. Really, Bruno and I had just kind of started our friendship, and I got to know Bill, and lucky enough to become have a few really good conversations with him, and I mean dynamic. And Bruno, when Bill passed away, he gave me all of Bill's books. We can't see it, Bruno. You just keep fading away.
You got your virtual background on. That's not going to hurt.
Yeah,
That's
screwing it up.
help.
Yeah.
Well, it's a picture of my father-in-law, Bill, which you can't see, but I'm pointing at it anyway. He is.
All right, what question were you going to ask me?
He was he's in a church in New York.
What's
Riverside.
your question for Travis?
Why do they eat fish on Fridays? Why do, as my friend from Automotive used to call Catholics, carp snappers?
Well, here's the deal. You'll have some people will say, "Well, the Catholic Church had a market in the fish market, and they wanted to get." I've been a Catholic all my life. I don't know why fish is.
I guess always with Catholics, it's follow the money, right? Why do they do some?
Can't you say that about any religion?
Well, yeah.
I mean, really. I
do watch the Righteous Gemstones, and I've got a really window into the thinking of what a church is like.
Yeah. If you haven't watched The Righteous Gemstones on HBO Max,
it's so great.
Seasons 1 through 3 are pretty good. I haven't started season 4. I've read reviews. It's not very good, but I'll be the decider of that when I watch.
Out of the gate, it's really great. No, I asked that. I'm a Catholic, or grew up Catholic, however you want to say it. I'm married Methodist, but we do carry on the tradition. Buzzard Billy's, Iowa Tap Room, Hessen House, High Life Lounge, and University Cafe will all have your Friday Fish Friday, Friday.
Okay.
The High Life always has fish on Friday. That's a Wisconsin thing.
So
that is true.
JT says most towns were near bodies of water, and fish was cheaper. So you'd take the money you would have spent on meat and given it to, I tried to get it there. Sorry.
Give it to the church.
It says most towns near bodies of water, so fish were cheaper. You'd take the money you would have used to buy meat and buy fish to give the difference to the poor.
Yeah, you give it to a kid.
Gemini AI says it's simply meant from abstaining eating flesh of a warm-blooded animals. Okay.
So, in other words, it's like all religious stuff. It's just made up stuff to get you to do something you otherwise wouldn't have.
Jeez.
Well, that's what religion is.
By the way, that Bill, his father-in-law, was a pastor.
Yeah, and he would have probably said this. He would have said similar things. He was more secular than your average. He didn't wear socks and sandals or anything like that. He wasn't truly over the top religious. I don't know. I'm just joking here.
No, you're not.
Speaking of fish, I got this one, Ross, and we were talking about. I'm not going to go on the fishing trip this year, and I ran past this story, which I think is great. So there's this girl named Haley Herzig, and maybe Ross, you read this. This was in February 8th, but she is in Van Dyne, Wisconsin. She's 6 years to harvest. It took her 6 years to harvest, just like Eli, her first sturgeon. But when she did, it was newsworthy. Reportedly, the first day of sturgeon spearing season at Lake Winnebago, she landed the fish bigger than herself, a massive sturgeon weighing 180.5 pounds, was more than 79 inches long.
Wow.
She said it was very exciting and did not feel real. I was in disbelief. And then when you see them, they are dinosaurs and they are crazy weird. And Eli catching his when we were on the trip was just amazing. We're all sitting there having a beer at the bar and everyone's like, you got to get down to the dock. Eli just caught a sturgeon. And it was every bit as big as him, right?
It was huge. Now, it was almost as big as he was at the time. He wasn't quite 6 foot. I mean, that a 79-inch sturgeon, that's 6 foot 7 inches.
So are we talking like is a sturgeon like a prehistoric fish? Is it like a gar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's got, looks like a dinosaur.
But it looks like they both look like dinosaurs. I would say the gar has a really long snout. But sturgeons have, like when they're younger, have like scales, like they look like a dinosaur with the scales coming out the sides.
Yeah.
But that 180 pounder, that's probably what Eli weighs.
Well, right now,
you know what I mean? It's wild. It's just wild.
I mean, that's the easiest way to think of that is that's 6 foot 7 inches. Now, I do question whether she's the one that actually. I'm sure she speared it because
but she did. She probably didn't haul it in. That's a lot
to have
for
help getting. Think of that. Think of.
But she is a 22-year-old female. I mean, I know
she might have. Yeah.
I think there's quite a few 22-year-old females that could take you, Ross. So I don't know.
Oh, no doubt.
And you're like what, 125?
I mean, you give me a couple days of packing on some pounds, I can get there.
In wet clothes. Because he didn't dry them, and he threw them all in the wash machine together.
All right, so back to the laundry. Bruno, you do your own laundry. Do you separate everything out?
No, I'm not a psycho. They have science has perfected washing it all together.
Nah. Gonna disagree with you on that.
Well, I don't have any fine clothing like Travis does. None of my stuff. My gray stay gray. And my black stay black, but I don't have any like red shirts. I would turn my white shirts red, but I also don't wear white shirts ever because they stay white for like a day. So I don't wear tidy whities. Everything I wear is some sort of dark color, mostly, or gray. So I can wash it all together.
What about
that
towels?
Makes sense.
What about towels, Bruno? Towels are they completely separate? Does somebody?
No, I put my towel. My laundry is being washed with what the British call my bedclothes right now. My sheets. I had a small amount of laundry. I just put it all in, and just said, "Let's just get this."
Stop looking at me like that, Ross. You're giving me that look of
like
Ross is just like, see, because Bruno's validated you. Now you think you're right. Bruno's validated it.
So you're saying, is this?
Well, I'm not a psycho. What are you talking?
I don't have like 20 hours. It's like everyone's like, I got to do laundry. I'm like, how hard is it? It's like, and then you shift it and do it again, and then it's all done. And then you just
carve my morning out on Saturdays. Saturday mornings are my laundry time, starting at like 8 a.m. up until like 1 p.m. Because I got to get 5 loads in.
And that. A lot of other people do the 5 loads in different fashion on Saturday mornings, but
that's funny. I'm glad we asked. Bruno, I was also telling the folks earlier, you're a cold shower guy. Wake up are you still doing that?
Oh yeah. I had one of those this morning too. Cold shower, and it was actually, I did make the mistake. We're bringing these two things together. I turned the laundry on, then took my cold shower. So water pressure was a little low this morning. But but I was able to get through it. I didn't
cold showers
have any...
I can't do. But listen, I need to be more disciplined. I need to get into that. Is it Jordan Peterson that says make your bed every morning? Isn't that one of his things?
That was that Army admiral who spoke. Remember, he's like, if you want to start your day of excellence, get up every day and make your bed. I mean, it was a very powerful speech.
I would say
Bruno, our buddy Ryan Carlstead at Willis Ryan has had his poop in a group longer than any of my friends. He was a teenager and he had his shit together. And Ryan says this too. Like he makes his bed before he leaves the house every morning.
See, those people are psycho. I like to crawl into the bed the way I left it.
I like to make the bed right before I get back into it, right? Yeah, I don't know. I just watch a movie or a TV show and they're like, it was a soccer coach and he's like, if you make your bed, it's a study that shows that people who make their bed are more successful in life. And I guess I get the idea is like you get to it, you do something, you have
it's discipline.
You know what? I get up and I do other things every day. I think it's just having a thing to
Bruno,
do every day.
I think yours is the cold shower. The cold shower thing for you is do the hardest thing of the day right away.
I almost shower and brush my teeth every day, and that's where the success lies. I'm just kidding.
And you show up. I mean,
yeah, you show up.
Yeah, you show every day, Bruno.
Today I'm at the state. This is the highest art of the craft of podcasting that I can put out there. So I've done what I could. Last week when I turned off, I realized I was dimmed down by 2 notches and I was a little dark last week. So I don't know. I've been busy. Excuse me if I haven't done everything right. We got the Fongs thing. When you get this close to the end of the deal with Fongs, everything's an emergency. So we go out and we buy this sign. We bought this sign for Cedar Rapids. We sold it at auction. We bought it back. Let's just say it's not the best way to do business. Even though it was a pretty good deal, the second go around, it's still on top of the old deal. So we go out and we're like, okay, getting ready. And then we get a note back from our sign guy. And he's like, yeah, it's 2 times too big for the building that you're putting it on. And I'm like,
now what do you mean for like
so they
code?
They take the square footage of the facing of your building and then it's a percentage of that spacing.
He can't get a permit to hang it.
So I got to get a variance. I got to go and do you know what? I hope that everyone listens to this, but I hope there's no city officials. I hope they're all getting to work right now. But I explained to the sign guy, I go, I'm like the guy who meets somebody's mom or grandma. Like when I talk to them, the city officials on the phone, like I just imagine him getting off the phone. It's like, what a nice little guy. What a good guy. He's so polite. I mean, that's why Eddie Haskell the hell out of it, and not in the weird way, like in the what do we need to do? I really appreciate it.
What a good way to put it, though. Eddie Haskell the hell out of it.
I've gotten out of a lot of speeding tickets for that. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you for pulling me over. I apologize. I did not even pay attention. Last time my dog got me out of it.
You attract more bees with honey or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's really more true that you attract more flies with bullshit.
Oh, look at this guy.
Look at that.
It's true though. I mean, you gotta be what you need to do, be in the moment. And it's totally genuine. I'm genuinely really wish I could get this sign on my building. And I really feel like it's a really great sign that it would be a shame if we didn't.
And it'd be an asset, a nice fun guy to talk to, genuine.
It would be an asset to the East Village. You'd be like, this would be something
that's the gateway to the new market district. We have this really nice sign, and you'll see it.
Can I ask, Bruno? Is it? The answer to this question is no, but because it's not obnoxious.
I have a picture on my phone. Can I put it in the camera and show you? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think you'd have to. Turn
if you shut your virtual background off.
No, it's a really neat sign. I don't want to do that because if I did that, I might just leave the studio. I'm finding out today that there's some downside to my virtual background.
Yeah, it looks like you have earmuffs
on. You held up the picture and everything.
Well,
because it was just virtual background. It was wild.
I do have my headphones on.
So for those listening on the stream, Bruno has this fake background behind him that half his head bleeds into it. So as we look at him, he comes, he disappears. Just to kind of give you a visual of what that looks like.
Man. So you said you have to apply for a variance. What are your chances of even getting that, or how long does that?
Everything comes with a cost.
The chances are strong. Yeah, there is you have to application fee, but it's a minor amount of money. It's just a time thing. If I wanted a variance in March, I needed to apply in February. I need to apply for by 27th of March to get get on the docket for the 23rd. It sounds like we'll be okay. I hope we're okay. In the meantime, we had a spare Fong sign because we've done a lot of Fongs that aren't around anymore. So we're putting up the Drake sign. That one's half the size, but it was based off the sign from Cedar Rapids. We'll do. It's not a showstopper, as we say. We have our liquor license. We have our everything's ready to go for the the soft, what they call the soft opening, getting people in, trying it out, and we should be good. We got spring break coming up, so we're gonna get everything kind of put together and cleaned up and ready to go. But we're set to pop. And the cool thing is when you open a new place, you're like, oh my gosh, you're figuring all these things out for the first time, because you're like, are we making the pizza right, or we have the recipes dialed in? How are we gonna make the drinks, or what's the drinks? This is all just moving from.
Are you bringing the ovens over? Are you bringing the? I only ask because a lot of people are anal about their ovens, right? Because it's like the ovens have been seasoned and they make that type of pizza. Are you everything?
They're moved over. Yeah, they're moved over. There's one trick that if you ever have to move a commercial oven, the best thing that you should do is make sure it's not on overnight when you want to move it, because it makes it too hard. We took us an extra day to move. There's all these little things that happen. It's like, they came in ready to move it, and the thing's still fired up, ready to cook a pizza almost, and you can't move it. Can you imagine like putting your arms against it trying to lift it up when it's blasted hot? So that's moved over.
Remember our boy Rube Waddell? Rube picked up a burning stove one time and carried it out of a building to save a bunch of people's lives.
Yeah, it's one of the 7 or 8 times he saved a life in his life. That guy, that's a great podcast.
All right,
so we're ready to go. Looking for everyone. April 1st is when we're hoping to open Fongs. So.
And Bruno will not be with us next Thursday. You told me, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I will be in a different time zone.
Okay.
All right,
buddy. That's not the good way.
You could just bring your computer like this.
But not the good way.
All right.
Yeah, you're up. I mean, what time is it in Italy? 5 o'clock at night or whatever?
No, it's 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, 5. I just didn't want to get up early. I'm going the other direction. So.
All right, everybody. We're going to wrap up today's show. Don't forget you can listen to the Rush Radio Show all day long at therushladio.com, powered by Willis Automotive. The podcast will be up momentarily, so if you want to start from the very beginning, you can do that as well. For Ross Peterson, for Bruno, I'm Travis Justice. We will talk to you tomorrow on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Spring is in the air and the perfect time to take care of your vehicle. Your car has worked hard all winter. Now it's time to give it the care it deserves. Did you know spark plugs should be replaced every 60,000 miles on some newer turbocharged vehicles? Also, carbon deposits on the valves can disrupt the airflow of the engine. These simple services can keep your engine running smoothly, ensure you start every adventure with confidence. Visit Willis Chevrolet today and make sure your car is ready for the road ahead.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Do you have a pest problem? With over 20 years of experience, Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions is Central Iowa's local expert in fast, effective, eco-friendly pest solutions at a fair price for your home or business. Call us today at 515-218-3400.
Believe it or not, spring is coming. When it does, be absolutely organized with custom garage or closet systems from Absolute Garage and Closets. Turn a winter mess into a spring success at our showroom in Urbandale or visit absolutegarage.net.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbox to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels. There's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.